In this lecture, we are going to work on displaying the selected chat in the UI. Currently, we don't have any messages for a chat between two users. For example, we don't have any messages for chat between John and Mark or John and Mary. Okay, so currently what we are going to do is we are going to create a chat area, and in that chat area, we are simply going to display the chat ID. So for each of these chats which has been created here, when any one of this chat is selected, we will show the chat ID of that chat in the chat area. Later, we are going to display the messages for that chat, but for now, we are simply going to display the chat ID for the selected chat. So for that, let's go to VS Code. And there, first of all, we are going to go to this user slice. And in there, we are going to create one more state. And we are going to call it as selected chat because we want to save any selected chat somewhere in a variable. And initially, it will be null. So initially, no chat will be selected. Only when a user clicks on a chat, that chat should be selected and it should be assigned to this selected chat state. Now, to update this selected chat, let's create a state updating function and let's call it set selected chat. Okay, and here we want to update this selected chat. And finally, let's also export this set selected chat from here. So this is the first change we need to do in the user slice. Then let's go to this user list component, and there we are going to set the selected chat. Now, when do we want to set the selected chat? Whenever this div is clicked, basically whenever this user area is clicked, and that we are displaying using this div, right? So on this div, we are going to add an on click event, and here whenever this div is clicked, we are going to call a function. And which function we are going to call? We are going to call open chat function. We have not created this function yet, but we are going to create this function. And when we are going to call this open chat function, there we are also going to pass this user object, maybe the user ID of this object. So here let's say user dot underscore ID. And on this div, what I'll also do is I'll add a key attribute, and to that again we want to assign user dot ID, and this should be outside of this curly brace. Okay, so here we are creating an attribute called key, and to that we are assigning this user ID. All right, now let's go ahead and let's create another function, and here I'm going to call it as open chat. Again, I'm using arrow function syntax here, and this function, it is going to receive the selected user ID. Okay, so whenever we are going to click on any one of these divs, we are calling the open chat function, and there we are going to pass the ID of the selected user, right? So this selected user ID is going to store the ID of that selected user. Now, here what we are going to do is we are going to find that chat whose members array contains the selected chat's user ID as well as the currently logged in user ID. Okay, so on this all chats, what we are going to do is we are going to loop over this all chats. For that, I'm going to use the find method. So this find method is going to loop over this all chats, and for each iteration, let's say we are going to assign that chat to this chat variable. And now in each of these chats, we are going to check if that chat member, so each chat is going to have a members array, if in that we have the current user. So for that, I'm going to use this includes method, and we are going to pass the current user ID. So we have the current user in this current user variable. So here I'll say current user dot ID, and let me move it to separate line to make it more readable. We will also check if that chat also contains the selected user ID. So here we have the selected user ID. Let's pass that. So what we are doing here is we are finding that chat whose members array contains the currently logged in user ID as well as the selected user ID. So for example, if we take an example of John and Mary Jane, then we are searching for that chat object whose members array contains the ID of John Smith and the ID of Mary Jane. And we are storing that chat in this chat variable. Now, if this expression, if it finds such chat, it is going to return that chat and that will be assigned to this chat variable. But if there is no such chat, for example, if there is no chat whose members array contains John's ID and Mary's ID, that means the chat has not started between John and Mary. So in that case, this chat will be set with undefined. So here we are going to write an if statement, and there we will check if this chat variable is storing a truthy value. If it is storing a truthy value, that means if it is storing a chat object, that means there is a chat which exists between the two users. In that case, we are going to update the selected chat with that chat. So for that, again, we are going to call dispatch. And in order to update the selected chat, first of all, we are going to import this selected chat here. So we are importing select all chats. Let's also import selected chat. And now we are going to use this set selected chat to update the selected chat. And what do we want to update it with? We want to update it with this chat object. All right. Otherwise, if no chat is found between the two users which we are passing here, in that case, we don't want to do anything. In that case, we are already displaying a start chat button. Right. So let's save the changes here. Now let's go ahead and let's create a chat component inside this components folder of this home folder. So here I'm going to create chat.js. Inside this, we are going to create a component. So for that, I'm going to create a function. I will call it as chat. And from here, for now, let's simply return an h2 element. And here, let's say chat area. And let's also go ahead and export this chat component. Let's save this file. Now let's go to home component. And here we want to use that chat area. So here I'll simply call it as chat. Maybe what we will do is we will call this component as chat area. And from here, let's export chat area. Let's save this. Let's go to index.js and there let's try to use chat area. And to use this chat area, we also need to import it from this file path. Let's save the changes. Let's go to our application. And here you can see that that chat area is being displayed. Now what we are going to do is let's go to chat component, and here we are going to import selected chat from user slice. All right. And here instead of displaying chat area, let's display selected chat dot underscore ID. And since this is a JavaScript expression, we need to wrap it within curly braces. And actually here we want to import selected chat. Okay, and not set selected chat. So we don't need to do this like this. Instead, inside this function, we are going to create a variable. Let's call it selected chat. And here we need to use destructuring syntax because from this user slice, we are going to import this selected chat, right? So the name should be same. And here we are using destructuring syntax. And to use it, you need to use selector. Maybe let me go to userlist.js and let me copy this line. Okay, let's paste it here. And in order to use this use selector, we also need to import it. So let me copy this and let's import it here. We don't need this use dispatch for now. So let's remove it. Let's save the changes. So here we are importing the selected chat state from this user reducer, and here we want to show the ID of the selected chat. With this, if we save the changes and if we go to our web page, let me refresh the page. Here you will see that we have an error. Now, why do we have this error? We have this error because initially no chat is selected. Okay, and when no chat is selected, at that time, this selected chat is null. If I go to user slice, you see initially we are setting this selected chat to null. And on that null, we are trying to access this ID property. And that's why we have this error. So what we are going to do is, here we are going to check for a condition. So for that, I'm going to wrap this within curly braces like this. And we will check if there is a selected chat. If the selected chat is not null, then only we want to display this h2 element. Okay. So what we will do is, let's wrap it within a div. Let's save the changes and let's go to our application now. So now that error is gone, but when I select this chat, you see the chat ID of that chat is being displayed. This ends with AF. If I select Mary Jane, the chat ID of that chat is being displayed. If I select Stephen Fleming, the chat ID for that chat between Steve and John is being displayed. All right, so this functionality has been implemented. Now there is one more thing which we want to implement. For example, if I search for some user, and when I click on the start chat button, a chat will be started between that user and the currently logged in user. And when that chat will start, we want to make that chat as the selected chat. So let's also implement that. Let's go to VS Code and let's go to userlist.js. And there we have this start new chat function, which we are calling whenever the start chat button is clicked. There, after setting this set all chat, let's say we also want to set the selected chat with the current chat, the new chat which we have just started. So for that, again, we are going to use dispatch. There, I'm going to call set selected chat, and to use this set selected chat, okay, we are already importing it here. So I'm going to use this set selected chat, and to this, we are going to pass this new chat. So now this new chat which we have just started, that will be the selected chat. Let's save the changes. Let's go to our application, and there currently you see the selected chat is this one. Let me select Mark Watt here. So this chat is the selected chat, and for that the ID ends with 25AF. Now when I will start a chat with Steve Smith, this ID should change. So let me click on this start chat button, and you'll see that chat has created successfully and the ID has also changed. Okay, and for that user, this start chat button is also not being displayed. So this functionality is also implemented. So this is all I wanted to cover in this lecture. In the next lecture, let's go ahead and let's design the chat area. Basically, let's design this chat component which we have created in this lecture. This is all from this lecture. If you have any questions, then feel free to ask it. Thank you for listening and have a great day.